Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. Recently we were in Utah. We were visiting the Southwest, seeing some national parks. But when we were in Utah, we stopped by to meet up with a friend that we met on the Facebook hiker group. Her name's Taylor, and she lives in Utah. She has an awesome rig, an extreme off-road edition hiker. So we thought we'd take a look at that rig, do a walk around, do some comparisons, how it compares to our mid-range. So if you're a hiker trailer owner, you're going to like this video. There's a lot of things that she took away from other hiker forum members to modify her trailer, and there's some great ideas here we're going to use for ours. So let's roll the footage.
We're here in Utah. We did a couple-week vacation out in the Southwest, and we were looking around at all the national parks and that kind of thing. But on our way back to Salt Lake, we ran into a friend, Taylor. We wanted to do a walkthrough comparison of the extreme trailer versus the mid-range trailer that we have. So we're going to have her kind of do a walk around with us and kind of compare the different features, the pros, the cons, the modifications, and what's different between the extreme model and the mid-range model.
So living out in Utah, we decided to go with the off-road model, especially given our tow vehicle and where we wanted to explore, which is primarily in the desert. The main features that I'm aware of that are different from the mid-range are that we get, biggest things are ride height is between 24 and 25 inches, depending upon where I have my suspension set up. I've actually got 33-inch tires on this one that actually match the tow vehicle, so that I have additional spare tires if I'm in the backcountry and need it. Other big differences are that I have a multi-axis coupler, which basically allows me to be at extreme angles while towing without having it bind up, which could happen potentially with a ball hitch. Having that extra space underneath it allows us to get a water tank, 21-gallon water tank underneath, also to have underbody storage. And then also we have additional jack mounts up front and in back, and we have some rock rails along the sides to protect it from damage from the rocks. So this is the battery box at the very front. What we had hiker add on was the Rotopax fuel containers on the side. So we have an additional 4 gallons of gasoline. On the inside here, this is actually a deep cycle wet cell. I think it's an interstate battery. I will probably be upgrading this to a lithium by fall. We also had hiker add on a 2,000 watt pure sine wave Xantrex inverter. I don't pull 2,000 watts. You can't technically safely do it with these batteries. However, I have pulled 1,400 and it has been okay. We also changed our solar charge controller. Hiker typically adds, I believe, what's called a PWM solar charge controller. We upgraded to an MPPT charge controller. It is a little bit more efficient and converts solar energy into power a little bit better than a PWM charge controller. So moving up top, we did have hiker add a Renogy 100 watt kind of soft cell solar panel up here. I realize that it's not, the perfect efficiency, but it does allow me to charge it at any point in time while driving, and I don't lose any aerodynamic while driving it. We really liked the Max fan a lot because we can actually have the fan on and ventilate while it's pouring down rain and not have to worry about any of that coming inside the trailer. We opted to do the full diamond plate protection on the front, especially given that we are traveling down corrugated roads and in an off-road situation. This area just tends to get really beaten up by rocks. We also did go with the front window. In hindsight, would I do it again? Probably not. It did take up some wall space that I would like to add a shelf, and the reality is we don't use it a whole lot. When selecting the hiker trailer, we initially had a door with windows inside the door. We actually canceled that option and are really happy with not having that window. We don't have to add another curtain to the area. Second, it actually allows us to use it to hang coats with the hooks that we have. We have some netting for additional storage, and then just some basic toiletries here. So for the inside, we did opt for both front and rear cabinets. We additionally added for the cabinet doors with the latches, especially given the environment that we're in. We didn't want these doors to come open. One modification that I did do is I added bungee cords so that I could keep these open, well, either at camp or just when we're packing it. Our 12-volt system is here. We have a 12-volt outlet, dual USBs on the voltage meter, which I added. This switch actually controls an additional USB port, which I added behind the faceplate. And then I have my remote switch for my 2000 watt inverter. The switch for the max fan on ours is just underneath here. Additionally, we did add RAM mounts on both sides of the trailer so that when we're in here, we could actually watch a movie on our iPad and just move the RAM mounts back and forth between the tow vehicle. So with our front window that we do have, we did add Reflectix. And we also have Reflectix on our side windows as well. This does an excellent job at both keeping the trailer insulated and keeping it at a decent temperature. They also are blackout shades. So when we have the Reflectix shades on this window as well as on the side windows, we've actually slept in as late as 10 a.m. just because we didn't know it was daytime. Moving a little bit further back, we do have fold-up cup holders. These actually prove quite handy, and they will accommodate a 12-ounce can up to a full-size Nalgene bottle without any difficulty. They stow away quite small. We also had my mother-in-law make us curtains, which I actually screwed in because it's my camper and I'll screw into it if I want to. And I wasn't planning on selling it anytime in the future, and I didn't want them to fall down. In addition to the max fan ring light, which can be quite bright, we did add additional puck lights on both sides. They can be controlled remotely, and you can either balance them to yellow or white. You can also dim them all the way down to 10%, which is really nice if you have young children, you're trying to put them to bed at night. So we did opt to add a mobile weather station. This particular model can be hardwired into an AC system at home. It does have batteries, and that's how we power it, is just with our batteries. We've never had a problem, and this has been running now for 6 months. We also added the dividers between the galley and the living compartment. We store a lot of our clothes and toiletries up in here, and just having it separated, we've enjoyed that. Finally, we do have the pass-through to our galley. I really enjoy this in the wintertime because when it is cold outside, we can actually just set our jet boil right here, wake up in the morning and start making coffee while still laying in bed. So having the additional ground clearance of the EOR, what we were able to get was underbody storage. We store our steps, our side table, our Reflectix window insulation, a small camping table, and chairs underneath here, as well as miscellaneous items. I did add a piano hinge up here because it did not come with the piano hinge. I just got this off of Amazon. Knowing that we were going to have significant changes in weight with the water tank underneath, we did opt to go with the air ride suspension. We additionally opted to have underbody lights added with my hiker. You can do white. We opted to choose red because it doesn't affect your night vision and it attracts less mosquitoes. We also opted to have an 11-pound propane tank hard mounted to our hiker. This can supply items such as our on-demand hot water heater, which is in our waterproof Pelican box. Our fill tank for our water is actually here. This is where we can access our water, and we have a charge port here. In case you're wondering what this canvas bag is, this is actually a trasharoo. It's quite large, but it's where we keep all of our trash, and it stays outside the vehicle and it doesn't smell. We actually just store trash bags in there. There's also a zip pouch on the top. And then I actually keep 2 quarts of engine oil with me at all times when I'm traveling in the backcountry in an oil funnel. So we did opt to have Hiker install a rear tire swing out with a full-size spare. This rim actually matches my tow vehicle rim, so that I can use this on either the tow vehicle or on the Hiker trailer. We also opted to have them swing this out to the left instead of to the right for an additional upcharge. The advantage of that being it swings out in the same direction as the door swings out, the galley door, so it does not get in our way while it camps. Our galley door does swing again in the same direction as the tire swing out, so it does not get in the way. We added a little bungee cord to kind of keep the door from swinging open to uncontrolled. And this is actually able to be disconnected and put behind the camper to keep this door open. We also added a back door organizer so that we could store all of our camping and cooking supplies. We generally kind of cook right in this general area. This door is foam core, so in order to keep this secure, we did actually have through bolts which go directly through this door. We did seal it with both sealing washers and with some silicone. This is our galley. We opted for a 24-inch deep galley, so we would have additional room for supplies. Our top shelf is only about 12 inches deep because we did add the divider between the galley and the cabin area. This is where we keep a lot of our propane hoses, our water hoses, our jet boil, as well as all of our kind of cooking oils, sugars, things that just basically live in the camper. We did add some bungee cords to keep things secure. Again, given the terrain we travel in, it is important to have that secured. What we did, we actually added this contact paper, it's clear contact paper. So our approach to the galley itself was we didn't want to have everything in boxes where we had to get to camp and unpack everything. We tend to move camp every day, and so that just wouldn't really work for us. So we organized this in a way where things were secure, but that we had easy access to them as soon as we got to camp. This organizer here, we actually got this idea off of another Hiker member. This is actually attached to the countertop using 3M VHB double-sided adhesive. And then our spice rack, we also got this idea off another Hiker member and is connected also via adhesive. We have hooks around our galley for various items that we use a lot. So this is the light that came standard with the trailer from Hiker. This is our 12-volt power strip for when we're connected to shore power. That does not happen very frequently. This is also the pump for our water pump. The final 2 additions to the rear galley that we added were additional 12-volt and USB outlets that are wired to a fuse box. We also added a slightly dimmer light with a different color to the galley that we like as well. On the passenger side, we keep a lot of our dry goods that we need frequent access to. Things like coffee, things like pretzel chips, cookies for the kiddo. Again, this is also secured with straps, so it does not move around. But we can easily loosen these straps and actually remove this whole crate if we need to. We did opt for the vertical drawers. These are child locks so that they do not open up while traveling. On the top drawer, we have our standard silverware. We really like this because it's like being at home. Below that, we keep a lot of our battery-powered lanterns, some string lights, headlamps, lighters, things like that we need frequently in camp. On the bottom shelf is where we keep all of our plates, bowls, coffee mugs, as well as some collapsible bowls. I also added a slide out tabletop. Hiker can add this from the factory. Something I probably would have had them do. I did not think about it until afterwards. This is really nice for when we're just pulled over, we have our fire pit sitting here, and we don't want to unpack the fire pit, and we just need more workspace. On the bottom shelf, again, we have straps to keep everything secure. In the bottom box, this is from Front Runner, and we keep our pots and our pans, our French press coffee maker there. Our stove we keep up top. And then we have more dry goods in an open air basket down here where we keep oatmeal, jars, and canned goods. We do have the Outland fire bowl. This is a propane fire pit that we really like basically all times a year, especially in areas where there's fire bans in place. We store it in the back in the galley, and it's really the only thing we need to unpack once we get to camp. One of the other features of the Extreme Off-Road is we do have recovery points on both sides that we can put a shackle through and recover the trailer. We also had Hiker add a 2-inch receiver. This is not for recovery, but we have used this for hitch-mounted bike racks and such. These are our rear stabilizer jacks. There's actually a stabilizer jack on each of the 4 corners of the Hiker trailer, which will allow us to level this even if we're on off-camber and multi-sloped environments. These are the front stabilizer jacks. These will actually just come off by pulling the pin, and then we'll connect to the jack mount down below, giving us jack mounts at all 4 corners. We additionally opted for the Rhino Rack Batwing awning. This is a 270-degree wraparound awning. We also have 2 sidewalls for this awning, which is really important when you're in the middle of the Utah desert in the summertime. Especially because we have a slightly smaller front storage platform, we did add the Yakima Box on top of the Rhino Rack. Up in there we keep our camping toilet, as well as additional chairs, the side wings for the Rhino Rack awning, and an additional camp table. So one of the common questions we get is, where do we keep our fridge or cooler? We keep it in the tow vehicle. The reason we keep it in the tow vehicle is because the Hiker trailer doesn't go everywhere we go. Sometimes we'll leave it and go out on a hike or whatever, or drive to another location to go on a hike. However, having the fridge in the tow vehicle, we always have our food and cold beverages.
All right, guys, that's the tour of Taylor's trailer. If you guys got any comments, leave them down below, and we'll see you at the next video.